The human body is made up of around 30 trillion cells. 84% of those cells are red blood cells. Pretty interesting fact, right? What's even more interesting to me is the fact that we host up to 100 trillion bacteria in our gut microbiome. There are even more cells in us that aren't us than that are. Until recently, we didn't know a lot about our microbiome. In the 2000s, we started to gain more information about what the composition is of our microbiome and what it does and how it affects our health. Connections are starting to be made between chronic diseases such as heart disease, inflammation, irritable bowel syndrome, and allergies to what types of bacteria live in our gut and how many of each type there are. We're going to focus on research that connects how irritable bowel syndrome, also known as IBS, may be connected to the microbiome and how much fiber we eat. So after that introduction, I'm going to also tell you, basically lay out what I'm planning on doing for the rest of my video, which is I'm going to talk about the microbiome, what it is and what it does. Then I'm going to talk about irritable bowel syndrome, what it is, a list of symptoms, the prevalence of the disease, and why we should care about it. Then I'm going to talk about fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber, are we getting enough fiber, and how that interacts with the gut microbiome. Then we're going to talk about how the microbiome has a connection to irritable bowel syndrome. I'm going to be listing some studies. Then I'm going to talk about how fiber and the microbiome and IBS are all related and connecting different studies in pieces to get a better whole picture of how they're related. And finally, I'm going to have a conclusion where I kind of recap the studies that we made and the discoveries that were made in those studies, and figure out the correlation and what can be done. And that's about it.